Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Bench. I am Rocco Granada from InTheCrossFitTrust.com, and with me, as usual, from LaxPhilly.com is Gary Grube. Gary, how you doing on this cold Friday night?
Well, we're trying to keep warm here in the Great White North, but it's not white, but it is cold. My God.
Yeah, it's cold here in the Philly area, and we're going to get a little bit of snow late tomorrow, but only like an inch and a half to 2 inches. Nothing major, depending on where you're at. Like a little bit further south might get like 2 to 3 inches, but to people up in New York and up there, that's like a dusting.
Yeah, well, Snowmageddon hasn't hit yet, I guess.
No, not yet, and I'm dreading when it does, or when it does. It's.
Well, I'm in the countdown. Everybody thought I was crazy when I was doing it in December, but every day right now that's without snow is one day closer to spring.
Yeah, and with us here, it always seems that we always get hit with a major storm or a major blizzard when there's a Wings game at home. And we always wonder, are they going to cancel the game? Do we have to get behind a snowplow? How are we getting to the game? There's a whole bunch of ifs that, go on. I'm pretty sure you have that, up in Toronto as well. But, 6-7 inches of snow is nothing to you guys there. It's, like I said, it's a dusting.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah, we go for our morning jogs when that happens.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's like, with the amount of times I've traveled up to upstate New York and into Canada, I laugh at everybody around here when they freak out over a couple inches of snow. It's kind of like, look, I've been up in upstate New York when they got 10 inches of snow overnight and it was gone the next day. I don't want to... Everybody just starts freaking out. But,
well, some of those Rochester trips that we've taken have been pretty scary.
Yeah, extremely. But now let's get going with the show here. Obviously, you know why, the reason I played that opening song.
Yeah, you're an Aussie fan.
Yeah, big time Aussie fan. But also, a Kevin Crowley fan. And I want to jump into this right away because in the beginning of the week, last Saturday, everybody knows right now they made the trade. Philadelphia picked up Kevin Crowley from the New England Black Wolves for a 2019 first-round pick and a 2022 first-round pick. Now, this came like 12 hours, or 14 hours really, after the Wings fell to Toronto on Friday night. And, Brett Hickey wasn't, injured, and everybody was wondering what happened. Well, we find out that he is now on season-ending IR with a lower body injury, but I found out that it had to do with the ankle.
Well, it's the same thing that happened in the summer when he played for the Oakville Rock.
Yes.
So he re-injured that. But at the time, nobody knew that. The speculation was that Coach Day decided to shake things up and say, hey, 0-3? Okay. Let's bring in Crowley and let's see what's going on. As it turned out, this was really a suave move because this will replace your centerpiece with another centerpiece. Let's just hope that you got the Kevin Crowley of old and not the one that's rusty, because when's the last time he played?
Last season.
Anything of like NLL?
Last season with New England.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's been a little while.
Right, but of course, we all know, during the CBA negotiations that, players were getting together, shooting and training and things like that. But, it shouldn't be hard for Kevin to pick up the scheme of things. Okay? But yeah, I mean, when that trade happened, first thing entered in my mind is, oh, Christ, got Crowley, Hickey, Matisse, Hall, Cloutier, Rambo, we're, high power here. Then all of a sudden the news comes out about Brett Hickey, so this even makes it more, beneficial right now for this trade. Hopefully it's the Kevin Crowley that notched, I believe, 51 goals last season or the season before. obviously the fans are going crazy over social media that he's back. I know he's excited to be back. If you listen to his interview on LSN, Lacrosse Sports Network, that he had, you could hear the excitement in his voice. And then one of our local radio stations had him on there for an interview. And, when they asked him why he didn't, move with the team, because he still lives here in the Philadelphia area, he goes, there's really nothing in Uncasville. So what are you going to do there? So, he stayed here in Philly and just, flew out there when it was time for the games. But yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be a real big help. Hopefully, the rust is off of him. Obviously, the contact part of it, we'll see what happens tomorrow night. But with that being said, we'll go right into that first game, and that was Philadelphia-Toronto, which I believe you were there, Gary.
I was.
We know all about the first two games with Philadelphia with the slow starts, falling behind early. Then, the second game in Rochester, they fell behind 5-0, had to battle back, and they just couldn't, do what they had to do. This was a tale of two halves.
Well, this was a pitcher's duel to start with, really.
Yeah.
There wasn't a whole lot of anything going on at first. It was back and forth. There was a lot of missed passes, a lot of sloppy play, really. But finally, Philadelphia got on the board at almost the 10-minute mark when Blaze Reardon got a goal. And then the interesting thing, Toronto is usually known for giving up shorties, not scoring them. And, the same guy got a couple. The second one we'll get into a little bit later.
Right.
But Tom Schreiber tied the game up just before the end of the quarter. And we were off to the races.
Yeah. I mean, it just... Yeah. For the way the goalies played for Philadelphia the first two games, we were all joking about, why don't we just go to the second half and start playing? Well, Doug Buchan came to play this game. And I think he made a statement.
Yeah, he played very well.
Yeah.
And so did Nick Rose for most of this game, too.
Yeah, both goalies did. I mean, it just, the whole first half. I mean, if you were to walk up to an NL fan and say, oh, yeah, it's at the half, and the Rock lead the Wings 3-2, they would look at you like you were drinking or smoking something.
Yeah. But even more interesting in this game, it's one thing that it was really, really, not a high-scoring thing, but both teams who are known for their power plays combined scored one power play goal in this game.
Yeah.
Out of 9 opportunities.
Well, the Wings' the penalty kill has been really off the charts lately. They've been really, buckling down on that. Scoring power play goals is a different story. They haven't gotten over that yet.
Yeah, but their penalty kill cost them 2 shorties.
Yeah.
Including the game-tying one, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, that's something that I still can't get my thoughts around.
Yeah.
With that happening.
Yeah. The third quarter, once they come out of the half, Toronto looked upbeat coming out of the tunnel, so something was said. But, and they came out strong. Adam Jones scored a minute 40 in, followed by Captain America at 2:19, and before you knew it, it was 5-2. It looked like Toronto was going to go and take this one to the house.
Yep.
However, the Philadelphia transition team was phenomenal in this game. And they started to wake up soon after that. And, Chris Cloutier scored. Adam Jones put one in, but then the rest of that quarter, I would say, was Philadelphia. Now, Tom Schreiber did get one goal in the middle of all that, but Steph Charbonneau, Kyle Matisse, and Cloutier with another one. And they really seemed to get their stride in that quarter.
Yeah, I mean...
and Toronto on their heels for a bunch of it.
Yeah, they did. They started Pepper and Rose, maybe a post here, maybe just missed a shot there. But when you look at Steph Charbonneau scoring one on transition at 11:40, and then Schreiber coming back at 14:09, and they hold the 3-goal lead, you're thinking, okay, the Wings just can't get that momentum going. Then, as you said, Kyle Matisse put one in at 14:25, and then 32 seconds later, Chris Clouchet puts it in to bring the score to 7-6.
And really, the crushing thing was he scored with 3 seconds left in the quarter.
Yes, it was crushing for Toronto, but very electric for Philadelphia. Okay, I'll say that. Because
they rode that wave because in the fourth quarter, they continued their run. It turned out to be a 5-goal run.
Yeah.
And it was all of it was transition. Anthony Joaquim, Liam Patton, and Kyle Matisse. Bing, bang, bong. And before you knew it, Philadelphia had the lead by 2 goals.
Yeah. But then it's like, as soon as they got that 2-goal lead, within...
It didn't take very long, did it, to tie up?
No, within 34 seconds, you had Adam Jones at 8:35 and then Tom Schreiber at 8:47. So that 2-goal lead lasted a complete 34 seconds, and you just got to, as a Philly fan, you just got to kind of shake your head and say, okay, what the heck is going on? I mean, it wasn't on the power play. They weren't shorthanded. I think they caught them flat-footed or shocked that they were up by 2 goals. And
the funny thing was, Blaze Reardon scored at 12:36, and the way Buchan was playing, I thought that was the game.
Yeah.
And then when Sheldon Burns took a penalty with just 47 seconds left in the game, checking from behind.
Yeah, and this is what I want to get to.
Now, that alone, I thought, well, so not only that, but we don't have possession. So if they run that shot clock off, we got basically 15 seconds to try and score a goal.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Gary. I don't know if you noticed it, okay? That delay penalty was called, okay? There was 46 seconds left, okay, at the time. Okay, 47 actually, when the arm, penalty was called 14-13. But if Clouchet didn't take that shot, they could have ran the shot clock all the way down.
That's what I'm saying. It would have left Toronto with just over 15 seconds.
Not even.
Not good.
No, not even, because by the time the penalty was called, okay, if he didn't take the shot, there was still 15 seconds. That penalty the stoppage would have happened probably at around maybe 30 seconds to go in the game.
Right.
So Toronto would have never gotten the ball back if the Wings could have kept away from them for 30 seconds.
Well, they had 2 brain farts. One was that, and the second was the shot on the power play.
Right.
In which Schreiber was able to pick up the loose ball and run it coast to coast and still had a memorable goal.
Yeah, I mean, they should have just...
His 5th of the night at that point.
Yeah, I mean, what I would have done, I mean, you got young guys out there, and, Clouchet being a rookie, what I would have done at that point, well, even if you would have called a timeout, they would have. That's when the penalty would have went to. That's something that the players should know. Okay, less than a minute to go. You're leading the game, whether it be by 1 goal or 20 goals. Okay, let the shot clock run out. You're going to get the ball back because it's a penalty on the opposition.
Right.
So shot clock violation, but the ball still goes back to you. Run it out. Take off as much time off that clock as possible. Okay, because you could have ran that all the way down to probably, I would say, maybe 32, 33 seconds at the most. Okay? Now, you get the ball. You restart at the top. Okay? With 33 seconds to go, let's say. You have 30 seconds to get a shot off. Okay, now this forces Toronto to do one of 2 things. Keep Nick Rose in and pressure with 4 guys, or pull Nick Rose and you go 5-on-5, but you leave that net open. Because at that point the Wings are just going to try to play keep away.
Yeah.
And then you force them, if you have the empty net, to somehow maybe loop a pass in and it goes into the empty net, or they shoot wide, you get the rebound, then you come down the floor. But doing what they did, it was a total brain fart.
No, we weren't out of the woods just yet because, Schreiber got tied this game up with 20 seconds left. But they still, when they went to overtime, there still was a minute plus left in this penalty.
Yeah.
to start overtime.
And they had plenty of chances there, too, and they just couldn't.
Nick Rose, for all the Nick Rose haters, for crying out loud, back up already, guys. Come on now. Nick Rose played amazing, and the Toronto defense stood tall.
Yeah. I hate him for a different reason.
And they waited for their opportunity. And another one with a hot hand, Adam Jones, with his fifth of the night, in overtime at 3:51, and the game was done.
Yeah, and he put that into small areas too.
Oh yeah, Jones was feeling it, and again, he's the last guy out of the dressing room through the tunnels, and usually he's just sauntering onto the floor. He had a pep to his step at the in the halftime, so coming back to the floor. So it doesn't really surprise me. He had a really good game.
Yeah.
Now, 3 scores. That's it for Toronto. 3 scores. Now, Brandon Slade got 1, but Tom Schreiber and Adam Jones both got 5.
Yep.
Well, if you're able to shut down the offense of Toronto, but you still have 2 guys scoring 5 goals each, did you shut down the offense of Toronto?
No, not really. Because if you don't shut down Schreiber, Jones is going to be there, and they both did damage. I mean, I'm sorry. You got guys like that, and Hellier only had 3 assists.
Yeah, no, they spent their time because of Hellier having such a big game last week.
Right.
Covering Hellier. They also had Dan Lentner, covered.
Yeah.
So he wasn't taking all those leaps across the crease.
Yeah. But now, here's one thing. I mean, the Wings played great in that game. They really did. Best game all year. Okay?
Well, the other person who was injured in that game, who didn't play from the first quarter on, was in my opinion, the toughest guy you got on your team. And that's Chet Konechny.
Yeah.
And I'd seen him in the tunnel because he's a friend of mine. And, he was already, coming into the half without his shoulder pads and shirt, jersey, and trying to get back to the floor, but he was taken back up to the tunnel. So, he was trying to get back out there.
Yeah, so hopefully he'll be...
he wasn't looking to... It looked like shoulder, so who knows?
Yeah, hopefully he'll be okay to play.
There's nothing from the team or from the league, so I assume he'll be okay to play this week.
Yeah, I guess they'll see how he does at practice tonight and go from there. But one thing they were talking about...
Probably got the biggest heart out there.
Yeah, definitely.
East Coast boy.
One thing they talked about during the broadcast. Now, I listened to it on our local feed, but I also listened to a little on BR Live. They were talking about the face-offs with Jay Thornberry against Trevor Baptiste. Baptiste
he was a beast.
Now, it's early to say, but in the 3 games right now, okay, he's won 56 out of 86, only about 65%. But if he keeps on going the rate he is right now, by the end of the year, he would hold the record for the most face-off wins, which is currently held by Bobby Snyder at like 312.
Basically, he's taking the league the way Jake Withers took the league last year.
Yeah.
Absolutely by storm. And in the head-to-head last week with Jake Withers, he annihilated Jake Withers. So
the week before, yeah.
How good is Trevor Baptiste?
Well, I told you before, when I interviewed him at the draft, and he had that game in college where he went 27 for 27.
Yeah.
And I asked him, what can you do better? His answer, win them quicker.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Again, in this game, I would say there was a lot of sloppy passes and a lot of other things going on. Loose balls was 99 to 70 in favor of Toronto.
Yeah,
that number is extremely high.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that the Wings can't prevent, because that's either 29. That's a combination of 29 extra chances for Toronto or 29 fewer chances for Philly. It's you can't have that happen.
And again, anybody who said the goalies didn't play well, the shots were 62 to 52. With a score of 11-10, they did both very, very well.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Both of them. So I'm kind of curious to see which way Coach Day goes this weekend. With going
I can't see him not putting in Buchan after last week's performance.
Yeah. I can't. I can't either. But when you have the Thompsons, you gotta, try to maybe get somebody who takes up the most room.
Right. Thompson, Scatoni, everybody. So.
Yeah. I mean...
And the stars, of course, was Adam Jones, Tom Schreiber, and Kyle Matisse as the third star.
Yeah. Yeah, Matisse played well. Walked out, with 2-2. Anthony Jochum, 1 goal. Charbonneau with a goal and an assist. Liam Patton, who's a big surprise out there in transition with 2 goals. Brett Hickey with the 2 assists before his injury. Blaze Reardon with 2. And Baptiste and Evans each with an assist. So hopefully, with the addition of Crowley, you're now going to have him alongside with Cloutier, Hall, Kyle Matisse. You're going to have something pretty good going out there. So hopefully it can transition into a victory this week. For Toronto, like you said, they had 3 scorers, but all they needed was Adam Jones and Schreiber. I mean, come on. 10 goals between those two. That's just scary right now. And that's, like I said, without Rob Hellier pitching in with any goals. So that's something that every team's going to have to work on. Now, our second game, which was quite a shock to me, was Vancouver at Georgia in front of what was announced as 4,975.
Only if you're drunk.
Now, I don't know if they just if that was the Play 4 lottery number 4975, and they said, "Hey, that sounds good for an attendance. Let's use that." But yeah, there was no way there was almost 5,000 people there. No way.
Yeah, I don't think they hit 5,000 people in 5 games, but that's beside the point.
No, but this game was a good game. I mean, Vancouver seems to be somewhat for real.
Well, you could have fooled me for the first couple of weeks, but in this one, their defense stood tall. That's the one knock I had on them from the previous weeks, and they were very, very good. They were, when they needed to be strong, they were. When they needed to push transition, they did. And they had Georgia on their heels most of the night. In fact, going into coming to the end of the third quarter, into the fourth quarter, this was Vancouver's game to win.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the curse of Vancouver came in.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the scoring and everything else that's on here. Thompson brothers combined for 5 goals.
Yeah, with Miles getting 3 of them this time.
Yeah, figure that one out. But then you got Lyle who got 2 goals, 2 assists. So he figured in on a little bit more than Miles did. But yeah, I mean.
Now the pleasant surprise with Georgia, I think, is Adam Wiedemann, the good old Brampton Excelsior there, as your transition/defenseman. And once again, he's getting involved in offensive stuff. And it's not really a surprise from what I've seen over the summer, but it's great to see him pulling it here in the National Lacrosse League as well.
Yeah, I mean, he played very well. I mean, 1 assist, but still, there's a lot more there than just.
Oh, he was all over the place.
Yeah, and that's really what you got to look at. People say, well, he only had 1 assist. Yeah, but look at what. If there was a third assist to be handed out.
He's also a bang-em kind of a guy, and he's involved in the play even though he may not be on the stat sheet. He had 3 loose balls, but, again, he's in there mucking it around to do this, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody, you can't have everybody be Lyle Thompson.
No.
You need to have guys who are going to dig and, do all the dirty work, the off-ball stuff. And that's what he's there to do, and he does it.
Yeah, now.
The other one was, of course, Holden Gattoni, and he only had 2 assists in this game. I expect a whole lot more out of him this week. Yeah,
and that's what I'm worried about, because we know how.
And him and Stotts, they had 5 assists. You start getting them going, and it could be a very long evening.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, because Stotts didn't have any goals. Shane Jackson, 0 goals. I mean, Yeah, it's just there's so much out there.
Like, I'd like to say that Aaron Bowles stood on his head, but he faced 46 shots.
Yeah.
Which is below average for a Georgia game. So I have to give it to the defense on Vancouver.
Yeah, big time. I mean, it's just...
And, Vancouver had two prolific scorers. Jordan McBride and Keegan Ball both had 3 goals and 2 assists each. Now, if they could get any scoring from anywhere else, this game was theirs.
Yeah, I mean, you got Logan Shush, who got a goal.
It's almost a shame that Vancouver played such a good game and came up empty.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they only played 45 minutes out of 60, or 42 minutes out of 60.
60, right. But, I mean, you need Logan Shush to put in a little bit more than just a goal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, bad there.
He had 10 shots on net, so, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's just... Well, 10 shots on net and 5 shots that went off net.
Yeah.
So he fired the ball 15 times. He had 4 loose balls.
Turnovers, right?
Yeah, he had 5 turnovers in the game. He had 5, Jones had 6, so... between him and Mitch Jones, that's 11 turnovers between the two of them. The team had 23.
Now, do you think Vancouver's missing Brandon Cleland?
Possibly.
But 10 for 22 on faceoffs. I'm pretty sure that. I forgot they never used him for a faceoff guy, did they? No.
No.
It took San Diego to figure out that he's a decent faceoff guy.
Yep.
Well, we'll just keep moving on then.
Yeah. So we'll have to see what Vancouver can come up with, in their next game. But I mean, overall, they didn't play too bad. They didn't,
Vancouver's got a walk in the park this week. They play Saskatchewan.
Oh yeah. Easy game for them. Plus, you got the return of Robert Church, so Church is ready to go.
Yep. He's
coming off that wrist injury. So now we have this game. This next game was ugly. Okay.
Yeah, so much so that Jake Withers has got
some extra discipline. Two illegal cross-checking majors.
And a smash to go with it a few minutes earlier.
Yeah. 10:05 slashing. He comes out after a power play goal at 10:25. 9 seconds later, he gets a major for illegal cross-check. But now my thing is, okay...
After the game, he did the same thing.
Okay, but here's my question.
How did he get out of the box?
At 10:34, you get a 5-minute major. Okay? At that point in time, the score was 12-4. There's no way the other team's scoring 8 goals. Okay? Why didn't they just send him to the locker room?
I agree.
That made no sense whatsoever. He should have been sent to the locker room because he couldn't come out until 34 seconds into overtime. So what you do, you tell him, go back to the locker room, your game is done unless for some reason you come back, your team scores 8 goals in 4.5 minutes. Which you knew that wasn't going to happen. So
looking at refs, we had the MSL refs doing this game.
Yeah. So again,
Larry Ferguson.
Right. So
I can understand why this happened.
So I mean, I don't see why there's any reason as to why he was left in the box. So for this one, I blame the officials on this one.
Yeah.
I really do, because if I'm Coach Hazen, I would say to the officials, hey, why did you leave my man in the box? There was only 4.5 minutes to go. We're down by 8. He gets a major 10:34. He's gone. It just made no sense whatsoever. Because then when he comes out, he gets another one. Because he can't control his temper. So I kind of think the officials kind of left that there to see what would happen. But Buffalo just completely, 5-2 at the end of the half, you still think there's a shot. But after that, it was all Buffalo. They outscored them 8-2 in the second half. They go 5 for 10 on the power play. Rochester goes 1 for 8. Rochester picks up more loose balls and everything, but this game was just complete Buffalo annihilation. And I thought the game would have been a lot closer than what it was. Evans, Priolo, and Small, Hogarth, and Dane Smith all had 2 goals. And this game could have been a whole lot worse.
Yeah, it could have. The funny thing is that Buffalo only had 45 shots on net.
Yeah, 13 of them going
Just
in.
59 shots on net, and Matt Vince finally had a game that Matt Vince is known for. Completely stifling the other team. Rochester was able to get 1 goal per quarter.
That's it.
They were rationed 1 goal, they took it. Rochester also went 1 for 8 on the power play, so they were their own worst enemies on everything. They also allowed 5 power play goals, so again, they were their own worst enemy on everything. Now, every team comes up with a game where everything goes backwards. So I'm not going to hold too much into this game. But, generally speaking, this team is known for its defense. And, they took the night off. And any part of the defensive core that's been so good for so long, just really, they weren't there.
No.
And Buffalo was able to shut down all the guns. You kept Cody Jamieson to a goal, Kyle Jackson to a goal, Corey Vitarelli to a goal. Now, it's nice to see Darryl Robertson score a goal, but he's a stay-at-home defenseman.
Yeah.
That says something right away about your about your offensive prowess in this game.
Yeah, Joe Stars had only 3 assists. That was it.
Jake Withers won 16 to 20 faceoffs, so it wasn't as though they were losing and not getting possessions. So it just is. It's weird.
Yeah.
Joe Restateris, 3 assists. That's it. It's just nice to see Darryl Robertson catch on and stay on with the team.
Mm-hmm.
He's been bit with the injury bug when he was here in Toronto. He was trying to get into the league for the longest time, having some really good summers in MSL. And really, if they're going to use him transitionally, he is a little gazelle. But usually they use him as stay-at-home defenseman. So maybe Mike Hazen's finally found something that works for him.
Found something, yeah. But Buffalo found something also, and it kind of...
You didn't want to write this game off and hang his good leaf and whatever. You just want to write this game off and move on to the next.
Yeah, you have to do something.
You can't wait to get on the floor again. No,
they can. That's sure. Any team would have that, and 13-4. It's you got Kyle Jackson in the 4th quarter get a roughing and a face mask call at the same time, and Nick Weiss got a rough.
Weird, because these are guys who don't usually take penalties.
No.
The Kyle Jacksons, the Jake Withers, these guys don't take a whole lot of penalties. Kyle Jackson had 3 penalties in the 4th.
Yeah.
And Jake Withers we already talked about. Obviously the frustration levels were at an all-time high.
Yeah. I would still like to know. I don't know if the coach asked the officials on that, but I would like to hear a reason as to why they left him in the box. It's just crazy if you ask me. Because now, no doubt with that's definitely going in front of the commissioner.
Well, there was a thing on supplemental discipline. I haven't seen what the punishment is.
Right.
But there was a blurb out there on both.
Yeah. What I have to do? I'm gonna have to send our friend Teddy Jenner, who does the Colorado Mammoth games, a text and ask him why does he think.
Yeah, here it is. Major Rule 63.2 and Major Rule 38.1 disciplinary action, but it doesn't say what the disciplinary action is. So.
Right.
I'm assuming it's a game.
It may be, yeah. But, yeah, then again, if I was a commissioner or whatever, I'd be asking the officials, like I said, why did you leave him in the box?
Right, but just the fact that it's after the game in a major, that doesn't usually bode well for playing the next game.
No, it doesn't go well, but, if you look at it where, if he wasn't even in the box, if they send him to the dressing room, it would have never happened. So my thing, the way I'm thinking is, I would be asking the official, why did you put him there? It's not like, it was a 1-goal game, and he might come out, partway into the overtime. This was an 8-goal lead that you had. So, but it is what it is. You see what you see what happens. Just another wacky game, I guess you could say in that case. But yeah, Buffalo just ran all over Rochester, beat them 13-4. Now, in a game that could have went either way at one point, you got the brand new San Diego Seals going to Saskatchewan. Now, this was the home opener for Saskatchewan, the hoisting of the banner. We talked about this last week, that our good friend Jake Elliott is now the sideline reporter there. And they also, gave out the rings, and we found out that two of your closest friends, I never met Grandma Rush, but friends with her on Facebook, and we conversate up and back. But the Saskatchewan Rush, the class organization that they are, not only gave the Hulk a championship ring, but they gave Grandma Rush a championship ring as well. That's just complete class right there, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Now, you met Grandma Rush. You've been there.
A number of times. I'm in conversation with her quite a bit.
Yes. I talked to her online, through the messaging, through social media, and if she's a tenth of the way she is online through social media, just from talking to her, she's a sweetheart. She really is.
She most certainly is.
And like I said, they give the Hulk a ring. We met him. We met Kevin. So that was really great that they did that. Now, the game itself. First quarter, 11 goals combined. It's just, it's like, okay, did they forget that they had to put the goalies in?
Yeah, exactly.
11 goals. You just look at it. Just everybody. McIntosh scored 2. Garrett Billings scores the first goal of the game. And this was the same guy that I said, what is Garrett going to do? Well, he got 2 goals and 4 assists in this game. So I think he did enough at that point. But
it was nice to see him, though, that's for sure.
Yeah. See him out there on the floor playing again. Hopefully, he won't be injured as much anymore. But San Diego, their offense is really good. Their transition is good. You got players, like I said, Garrett Billings, Brody Merrill, Brandon Cleveland, hello.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he only went 10 for 31 in the face-offs in this game. But Austin Stotts, number 1 pick overall, 4 goals in this game. And it seems like Frank Siciliano found a fountain of youth with the way he's been playing.
Yeah, it's been a really, really strange thing, but it's a good fit. Definitely a good fit. Yeah, when he was
at Calgary, he struggled. Sharing time with Del Bianco, a Christian there, and now it looks like he all of a
sudden has found his thing because he looks very comfortable in that.
Yeah, well, the only other option is Tyler Carlson. and he's opening the door now in San Diego, so
yeah.
So there really is no other option. But this was a game that wasn't decided. You look at the score, 13-9. They battle back. You're looking at what, 9-8 and what, 10-8 at the half. And San Diego still had a shot at that point, and they just kept on knocking on the door, but Evan Kirk just shut it down. Didn't allow them to get any type of run going for them. To stop them. Saskatchewan 2 for 2 on the power play. San Diego 5 for 6 on the power play. 5 for 6 on the power play, and they lost. That's Granted, there was one shorthanded goal by Saskatchewan. Loose ball 78-64 in favor of Saskatchewan. 63-49 shots on goal. This San Diego team, I think the West this year, with them going to 8 playoff teams, I think all 5 teams are fighting for that playoff spot. Well, Saskatchewan obviously is most likely going to be one, but the rest of them, who knows? I mean, you can't say Colorado's a 2 team right now.
No, right now they're a 4 team.
Yeah, I mean, so you got Colorado, San Diego, Calgary, and Vancouver. Those 4 teams fighting for 3 spots. I mean, the past few years, what do we do? We kept on saying, who's going to make that final spot, Calgary or Vancouver? Now you got 4 teams fighting for 3 more spots because we know Saskatchewan's going to be, up there.
They'll be in the mix.
Yeah. It's just a matter of how now if Colorado can turn it around, it's early in the season, they could separate, get some space or whatever, but we'll get into Calgary with the next game. But they're missing some pieces, and you wonder if they're going to come back. But with Saskatchewan's roster, with the scoring, you had Matthews 2 goals, 3 assists, Ryan Keenan a goal and 3. Jeff Shattler. I mean, is Calgary starting to bang their heads about this one? 4 goals in that game, and Big Ben McIntosh 5 goals and 4 assists.
Well, yeah, but no, the Shattler thing. If they haven't banged their heads already last year,
yeah, they're starting to do it now. I mean,
well, he was an integral part of them winning last year. So
and he hasn't let up. He's still going. I mean, whatever fountain of youth he's drinking from, I'd like to know. Because he's just having, a fantastic start to this year. He's picking up right where he left off, from last year. Now, this last game, these 2 teams might be fighting for the final spot, or one of them is going to be fighting for a final spot. You got Calgary at Colorado. This was on Sunday, and
I don't know about you, but I have picked Colorado to do a little bit more than they've been doing. They've been known for good defense for a number of years, and Dylan Ward in net as well. And then with the likes of Ryan Benesh, with the likes of Ryan Lee, with the likes of Taylor Stewart, I expected more.
Yeah.
But what I saw in preseason, I wasn't too impressed with. They just didn't seem to be in sync. And it seems to have carried over. My question is it coaching? Is it with new coaches? They just aren't grasping it or not following it or something? Because this is pretty much the same team as last year, the year before, which has been 1-2 with Saskatchewan, in fact, beating Saskatchewan.
Right.
So much so that when I went into Saskatchewan in April, that game was deciding first place.
Yeah.
We're not going to have that game this year.
No, what you might have is maybe
the last playoff spot.
Yeah, Colorado and San Diego, or Colorado, San Diego, Calgary, or Vancouver, or whoever, maybe fighting for that final spot. And
so again, it's a little bit it's a conundrum because the team hasn't changed that much. Dylan Ward is still playing pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
He played a lot better in this game than he did in the first one.
Yeah.
But
well, when you hold Stephen Keogh to just 1 goal, that's going to do something there. I mean, Benesh only had 2 goals in the game. Stewart had a goal, Lee had a goal.
But there was no cohesion in this game.
No.
They just didn't look like they were there.
No, it looked like they just went out and said, okay, here's a ball, let's play.
Pretty much. Pretty much Calgary dictated this game.
I think Reese Dutch dictated the game.
Well, 4 goals and 2 assists. Yeah, geez. Did he do that at all in Vancouver last year?
For a season, yeah, total.
Yeah, I think so. And he's made all the games this year, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And now with this...
Also, Dan Taylor, he finally gets a chance to play every game, and look, 2 goals, 2 assists.
2 assists, right. So now you wonder, with Calgary, are they missing the likes of Curtis Dixon and Wes Berg?
Down the road, I say yes. For now, no. But you can't expect this kind of production coming from these guys every single game. It just isn't going to happen.
Well, for a Reese Dutch...
already you didn't get anything from Dane Dobby. Nothing. Had 1 assist.
Yeah, 1 assist, right.
Right. Now, if you shut down Reese Dutch, does Calgary win?
No.
No.
Of course not.
They're one-dimensional right now.
But
they had, think about it, if they had Dixon and Berg in this lineup, they'd be going up, and we'd be talking about them in Saskatchewan, and who was going to come out of this division.
Exactly. So
it's in their better interest to start talking to their agents.
Yeah, because if you have them in the lineup, you're looking at Dobby, Dutch, Berg, Dixon. That's potent right there, okay?
It's a very good lineup, yeah.
Yeah. Now, granted, they shut down Dobby, but then Reese Dutch goes off. I mean, and you add the other 2 in it. I mean, Dixon, he doesn't have the nickname Superman for nothing. Okay?
Yeah, and you also have Kristen Del Bianco standing on his head. He only gave up 8 goals.
Didn't he just celebrate his 13th birthday? I mean, I'm sorry. A great goaltender, but he's got that face. It's a baby face.
Well, he is only 20 years old, right? He still played the Minto Cup. He won the Minto Cup this year.
Yeah, and he still hasn't been able to drink champagne out of it yet.
How's that? Second full year in the league, and he's still playing junior.
Right, exactly. And he's just getting...
But he's a rocker like that, too. They have Riley Hutchcraft, who's still playing junior.
Yeah, and he's just getting better and better.
Yeah.
Making fun of him, but if you look at his face, it looks like he hasn't hit his teen years yet.
Yeah, but he can play like the wind.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking forward. I mean, I don't want to rush the season. Okay.
Interestingly enough, who is his backup?
Tyler Richards.
Uh-huh. We wrote him off a couple of years ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So T-Rich comes back. Who knows?
And you never know. He could also be out there for trade bait. You never know,
Wouldn't it be interesting if he got traded to Vancouver?
Yeah, I don't see Rich going to Vancouver.
Just putting that one out there.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to, like I said, I don't want to rush the season, but the Wings host Calgary, their last home game of the year. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that game when it comes, and hopefully getting to meet Del Bianco. Because we talked about, we love his gameplay. I mean, it's just been phenomenal. And he's kept Calgary.
He's old enough to drink here in Canada. He's not old enough to drink there in Philly.
Right. So, but he's actually helped this Calgary team stay, I guess you could say, above water, or even in playoff race from last year and the year before that. With the way he's battled and played. They come out and they beat Colorado 11-8. I mean, can we actually say that this Calgary team is for real? And are we going to be shaking our heads, going, "Oh my God, they might be able to pressure Saskatchewan"? Should they get Dixon and Berg signed? That's what, you got to look at. But then again, could that ruin the chemistry that they have right now? By adding them into the mix of things.
Right.
Yeah. They had 11,378. Not a bad attendance there for the Loud House. Colorado 0 for 3 on the power play. Calgary 1 for 2. Colorado picked up 11 more loose balls, 69-58. They outshot Calgary. Shots off net were basically even too. So I think it was just a matter of shot selection for Calgary that that did this, and they took advantage of everything possible there. But I don't know what's wrong with Colorado because they haven't been playing the way they should be playing.
Yeah.
And it's it's kind of scary if you ask me right now. Now, with that was the last game that we had for the week. So we look at the standings, and in the West you got Calgary on top. When was the last time we said that? They're 3-1. Saskatchewan is 1-1. So they still have a couple games to pick up yet. San Diego is at 1-2. Vancouver 1-3, and Colorado is 0-2. They have yet to pick up a win yet. In the East, Georgia is sitting up there at 3-0. Buffalo at 3-1. Toronto 2-1. New England at 1-1. They're the top four teams, and they would be in the playoffs right now. Rochester is sitting at 1-1, and then Philadelphia right now at 0-3. They are scoring goals though. They're scoring almost the same amount as Georgia is. Yeah, but the defense is a little bit different. You're going to have to see what happens this week. And with this week's games, we got 5 games this week.
All on Saturday.
Yeah, and that's good and bad, I say. I want to do the Georgia-Philadelphia one last because it has to do with the convention that's in town as well. So that game starts at 7 o'clock on Saturday, all these times Eastern. 9 o'clock Eastern, Toronto goes to the Loud House. Schreiber and Jones went off last week with 5 goals each. Colorado's in a slump right now, 0-2. I think they go 0-3, and they go down 0-3 hard in this game.
Yeah, I think Toronto's pretty much solved it. They're a pretty resilient team. They find new and innovative ways how to win, as opposed to in the past finding ways how to lose. They're now starting to work well. Again, their transition team is very good. They're finding ways how to do it, whether it's shorthanded goals, power play goals, the big three of Hellier, Schreiber, and Jones. But you also have the McCardles out there. You have Latrell Harris, who's been adding quite a bit with his gazelle-like speed across the floor. Sheldon Burns, etc. Nick Rose has been steady all year.
Yeah.
And last year. And in the summer. So I wish people would open their eyes.
Yeah, they need to. And every time you tell me when you're at the games, and people are saying that they don't want Nick Rose, they want last year or the year before it was Miller time. They wanted Brandon Miller to come in and take Rose out. He's no good. I mean, look, like you say, Gary, you got to wonder, what are they watching?
They're nuts.
Yeah, do they even know about the game of lacrosse? That's what you have to sit there and think about. Now, the next game that's also starting at 9 o'clock Eastern, New England at Calgary.
This one's a little more interesting in my eyes. I think it's a much closer game. New England's been doing well on offense, so much so they beat Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
But I'm still not convinced. But yet I'm not that high up on Calgary either. Now, my usual rule of thumb is, in a really close game, go with the home team, so
right.
That's about it. I'm with Calgary.
Yeah, that's where I'm going, too. I think Calgary just has too much firepower compared...
I think really, if you put it, it's Del Bianco against Bouquet.
Yeah.
I get Calgary 8 times out of 8, 12 times out of 12.
Yeah, the goaltending is in their favor, and I think the scoring is in their favor as well. I really do. I just think Calgary
New England's defense can have an answer for what we're talking about for a Reese Dutch or a Dane Dobby. So I think that they're in a little bit of trouble there.
Yeah. If they shut one down, they're not going to shut the other.
And I think with the likes of guys like Chris Cummings and on defense for Calgary, I think that they will have an answer for some of New England stuff.
Yeah. So we both agree Calgary in this game.
Yeah.
The next game, Saskatchewan at Vancouver. Whenever we saw this, like in previous years, we would just laugh and say, okay, let's move on. I'm not going to laugh. I'm not going to say let's move on, but
I think it's a really good game to show off if Vancouver's defense is the same defense that I watched last week.
Yes. But
if they pull this off 2 weeks in a row, I'll be more of a believer.
Yeah, I won't say they keep it close. This is still going to be like a 5-6 goal victory for Saskatchewan, unless Vancouver totally goes off the tracks.
If they can keep it close for 3 like they did with Georgia, I would even be satisfied.
Right. I mean, I don't see them winning this game at all.
And that's what happened to San Diego. They were able to keep it close with Saskatchewan for a little over 3 quarters, and then fifth gear kicked in, and Saskatchewan went to town.
Yeah, and you also got to realize Robert Church is now coming. He's off the IR after the wrist injury, so look for him to get on track quickly in this game. But yes, Saskatchewan will win this game. I'm thinking 5-6 goal win here.
Right.
Now, another interesting game coming up. You got the Rochester Nighthawks out at San Diego. This will be their home opener for San Diego.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of hoopla. It'll be a good crowd. I'm curious how Rochester reacts after last week's debacle. If Jake Withers isn't in the lineup, that's huge because that's their face-off guy.
Right. Now here,
and I like the defense that Pat Merrill has put together in San Diego, and I think they stand a real good chance of shutting down the likes of a Cody Jamieson and a Kyle Jackson, Corey Vittorelli, guys like that. So I think they're going to be good grinders and muckers in there. So I think I'm leaning to San Diego in this game, but not by a big score.
Yeah, I'm looking at what I'm trying to figure out is how is Rochester going to come out? Not only like you said, losing that game 13-4, then they go out to San Diego. You got the big grand opening, we'll say, for San Diego. Okay, they got to sit and wait through all of that, hoopla, we'll say.
Yeah.
After they get done warmed up and ready, then they sit for a bit. Then they got to come out. So you wonder if they're going to come out on a slow start or not with that. After you get warmed up, you go out, go back into the locker room, you get your last minute talk, tighten up the pads, tighten the tape up on the shoes or what have you, and then boom, you're right out running again within 10 minutes. Well, San Diego's going to have their opening ceremonies and everything else, so have to see how they respond to that. Their goaltending with Goodleaf, he's got something to prove. Okay, I know there was a few Rochester fans that made the trip to San Diego to see this game, but Goodleaf does have something to prove. The offense has something to prove. With that being said, like you mentioned San Diego with their defense, with their transition, with Brody Merrill back there, and Dan Dawson and Austin Stotts. This game's going to come down to the very end. I don't think it's going to be, close. It wouldn't surprise me if it goes to overtime, this game. It really wouldn't. But I wish I could say I don't want to pick either team. I'm going to say I would like to see San Diego win their home opener, but I'm going to lean the other way. I think Rochester gets back on track in this game. They need to get on track, and I think they're going to do that this week. I think Brestaris is going to have a nice little game. Cody Jameson's going to have a game. I'm thinking maybe the final's going to be like 13-12, 14-13, something like that. It's going to be a 1-goal game. Now, the last game we have, which is actually the first one of the week, is Georgia at Philadelphia. And this is LaxCon weekend in Philly. The U.S. Lacrosse Convention is here. So there's a lot of stuff going on at the Philadelphia Convention Center where I will be tomorrow. But this is a game that will be very interesting because Philadelphia played Toronto very, very tough. Now they got to deal with the Thompsons. They got a little more, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, because they started out slow the first two games. Momentum, I guess I'll use. And they played last week a lot better. Maybe this is the week that they get that win because as of this morning, there's only 200 seats left in that arena. So, yeah, for the whole lower bowl. So they might be opening up the upper level for walk-ins should they, get rid of tickets and there's more of a request. So who knows? But with the addition of Kevin Crowley, earlier in the week I would have said I think Philly can do this, with having Hickey in the lineup, but now with his injury, it's going to be a battle because you got to deal with the Thompsons, Shane Jackson, Randy Stotts. You have a large contingent there. Then you got to deal with Mike Poulin in between the pipes.
That's another factor there, right?
Yeah, big factor, especially in the goaltending. Did Buchan find his stride between the pipes? Can that be the same person that we see this week against Georgia, against the likes of Miles and Lyle Thompson? Or is this going to be the Doug Buchan that got shelled in the first half of the first game? We have to see. I'm hoping it's the first one. I'm hoping it's the Doug Buchan that we saw last week versus Toronto. That he can, still do this.
We'll see. I think that the Georgia comes away with this one. I just think that they're too strong. They're too powerful. And them being shut down last week, I think, was more of a wake-up call for them. So I think they're going to be even more ferocious. Yeah, you've got Lyle and Miles, but we also got to think about the other guys in there too.
Right.
And Holden Catone, these guys have all had something to say all through the year. You're not going to hold Shane Jackson or Holden Catone off or Randy Stotts. These guys are all going to be part of it. Jordan McIntosh usually gets involved in some of this as well.
Right.
So,
yeah, it's going
to be interesting. And then, of course, you look at some of the transitional guys. The Brandon Bomberys. Again, we talked about Adam Weidman. These are guys that can change the game. Ted Williams is another one. He's got 3 goals this year already. So there's a lot of firepower coming from a lot of different angles, and especially if Philadelphia can't get the penalty kill thing going.
Right.
The shorties. These guys will go to town.
Yeah, and then you got to look at the transition game for Philly. You got Jordan Hall and Kyle Matisse, both former Swarm players. So I think there's a little extra in their step this week as well.
Yeah, and a lot's going to do with how Poulin's going to play.
Yeah.
If you get the Poulin of the last few years, and he's been just absolutely dynamite.
Yeah. And like I said, this is going to be a very tough game. I don't think Georgia runs away with it.
I don't either, and I think the fans have something to do with this too.
Yeah,
we won't be able to talk to each other. It's too loud in there for them to be able to get a word across.
Yeah, I think this is Philly's time. I think they pull this one off. I really, really do. This is going to be one of those upset games that people are going to be like, "Oh my God, this team is for real." I think they pull this one off against Georgia. I'm saying that only because hometown. I want to see them win this game. And as much as I like the Thompson brothers, okay, Miles goes hot and cold. And this could be a game where he goes cold as far as scoring-wise. And I think the main person you got to worry about is Lyle Thompson. You got to stay in his back pocket the whole time. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And I think Philly's transition is going to play a big part in this. They can't miss any type of transition goals coming their way. So the Liam Pattons, the Kyle Matisses, and Steph Charbonneaus, they get that chance to run the floor. You got to convert. You got to convert, because I can almost guarantee you miss it, or you hit the post and you're caught back shorthanded on the rush back. Georgia ain't going to miss. So that's going to play a big part, I think, right there. So there you have it. Obviously, Gary's going with Georgia over Philly. I'll go Philly over Georgia. We both agree Toronto over Colorado. Both agree Calgary over New England. Saskatchewan over Vancouver. And in the last game, Gary's saying San Diego. I'm going Rochester. Even though I just think it's going to be close. I think they just get on track. Any other time, I think San Diego would win this game. But who knows? I think they're all going to be close. Unfortunately for Colorado, I think it's a different story. So, but that's how we have everything. Gary, another great show.
Thank you very much, Rocco. It's a pleasure.
I'm off to the convention tomorrow to see one of our very dear friends, Billy O'Brien.
I'm off to cover ALL, Arena Lacrosse League, before all this starts.
So I will see Thrilla 96 tomorrow at the convention, along with his brother Curtis. They will both be there. So I will get a few words with them. So that should be good. So, when they listen to this podcast, when it gets posted, if they listen to it, drive safely on your way down. So, it's going to be, an interesting day tomorrow. It's going to be a long day. For me, at least. So, for everybody else out there, if you're in the snow areas, be careful. If you don't need to go out, don't go out. If you're in those cities, Philadelphia, Colorado, Calgary, Vancouver, and San Diego, go out, buy your tickets, go out, see a game, support the team. It's a game you don't want to miss. You really, really don't. And with more teams coming into the league next year, it's just growing bigger and faster, and there's a lot of excitement out there. So, until next week, for Gary Grube at laxphilly.com, I'm Rocco Granato from InLacrosseWeTrust.com. We'll see everybody here again next week.